Hello, welcome to another UTS Startups Confessions. A little round of applause, please. Beautiful, thank you very much. I've never been so excited about pallet wraps. Okay. And you guys are going to be excited too in a second once you understand what they are and why they matter. Firstly, what is a pallet wrap?
I guess there's about 5 billion pallets or so circulating the world at any point. Anytime goods are freighted anywhere, it's about 300 grams to half a kilo of plastic is used to attach that to the pallet. Okay. Single use, not recyclable.
Yeah, that sounds nuts. Putting half a kilo of plastic around a pallet to then cut it up and throw it away after you get to a destination. So we're going to fix that, but we're going to start with the kind of background story. So before Bearhug pallet wraps, who were you?
I guess I started it in second year uni. Backtracking, I guess when I was 12, I started a goalkeeper glove brand. Purchased about 120, had them manufactured. So that was always the path I wanted to go on. I wanted to do something new, and entrepreneurship always seemed the way to go.
Okay. How do you decide to do gloves at 12 and order the number that you did?
Being a goalkeeper helps. That's where the interest was. Can't really remember, to be honest. It was just sort of seemed like something worthwhile to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then fast forward to university, you're doing business BCII?
Yep.
Cool. And then kind of got into this. What are your first memories of the Bearhug kind of idea?
So I started at Modus Transport, which is New South Wales' largest craft beer transport company, about 4 years ago as a truck driver. And so end of every day, there'd be that half a kilo of plastic in the back of my truck. I was happy to just be agitated by it for a year before starting to do a bit of research and try something.
Okay. And what did that look like? So seeing, okay, here's a problem, I want to do something about it. What steps were you taking from there?
I guess first thing was what's on the market, just research how big the problem is. It took ages to find out whether it's actually recyclable or not, because there's always conflicting information on everything. But yeah, just what's the existing things on the market, what's missing.
Okay, so a lot of market research, talking to logistics people,
yep.
Blah, blah, blah. And then coming across, there are these reusable solutions that some people are starting to adopt.
Yeah, so it seemed like the obvious solution, like they can be used 1,000 times, so say 450 kilos of plastic over their life. And I guess digging down a bit further into that, saw that obviously they have to have some service model accompanying them to allow them to be exchanged or feasibly used in supply chains, and turns out there's not, so that got me here.
Okay, cool. It's a weird area because, like, in my head, I don't understand why people hire pallets. Like, if you're using pallets every day, why does that business model make sense? But it sounds like the same business model makes sense in your case. Why do people hire pallets and kegs and pallet wraps?
Yes, the first thing is that you deliver a pallet to someone, say, with 1,000 kilos of whatever on it. You're not going to take that all off at the point of delivery. You leave the pallet with them and you pick up a spare one for their inventory. The same rule applies to pallet wraps. Kegs are a little different, but the main principles under it is just that exchange. Admin is a big thing as well. You want to outsource that as much as possible. And the product is always rotating through internal DCs of the company that leases it out. So that is also a big quality control part of it.
Okay, so when I've got 1,000 kilos of something valuable, I don't want to mess around with a wrap and pallets and everything of my own. And I don't want the capex. I just want to pay and have it taken care of.
Yep.
Okay, it sounds like you can do the same. Tell me about the BCII input into this. Do you have teammates from there?
Yeah, so I guess I've been working on this myself for 2 years, and last year in BCI I got to have a team of 6 come on board to do a feasibility study, and it was just amazing to me that I can work on this for 2 years and make this amount of progress, and then all of a sudden 6 other people work for 3 weeks, and it's like just the same amount of progress in 3 weeks. And then had the opportunity for the last 4 months of BCI for our capstone to have a team of 4 getting us to our pre-sales. And BCI in itself just sort of fills all the gaps of the soft skills between everything else you're doing. And that's probably the biggest part of innovation, is those soft skills.
Awesome. So for people at home, that's a Bachelor of Creative Intelligence and Innovation. It's a wonderful part of UTS that is a kind of double degree thing that people take on in addition to whatever else they're studying. So fast forward to October. You kind of got things ready to the point where you know more or less what you want. Actually, backtrack a little bit. How do you know which wrap you want and how did you source it?
Same as your comparison shopping, what's out there, what's good, what's the price. And so we've decided to import some from China, which we think are the best. And the premise of that, rather than going into our own manufacturing, is what we're doing new is the service model or the share and reuse model. So we're finding out if that works with the existing products before even considering manufacturing our own.
Okay, that makes sense, especially as a kind of emerging thing. When people are not using them in Australia, if people are already starting to manufacture them overseas, why reproduce that too early? That makes sense. So you then kind of try a couple of different things, find the right supplier, set up some deals, and got to October and set up some kind of landing page thing?
Yeah, so that was just the first stage of pre-sales, which we launched about a month ago. The landing page, the main thing of it, we did a sales tour of Melbourne as well. But through Motors Transport, a place where I'm still working casually, that's where a lot of the contacts came through, because as a network model, they're sort of the center of that craft beer industry we're targeting. So it's going to their customers is what's been the best path for that.
Okay, cool. How does it feel going from doing deliveries for a company to then going into the company and other companies like it and saying, I can fix this problem for you?
It's made easier or more personal, I'd say, because I've sort of been able to build that qualitative model of the whole industry in my head as I go through and deliver across all of Sydney and talk to everyone from the different points in the supply chain. So while it's also difficult to be an employee at a place and trying to say these things need to be better and saying that to the whole industry, it's the most valuable thing I'd say we've got.
And probably not something you'd be able to solve within the company from that kind of position either. It's not like you can walk in and say, I want to buy these and use them instead of this stuff we're chucking out.
But the owners as well care about sustainability and were looking to support anything that could be done. And so they provided the earliest funding to buy existing products and that.
Nice. I love that. I see so many B2B companies starting by people within a company getting sick of what they can do within the company and then going outside of it, supplying to it, and then kind of productizing something and scaling that up. It's a great way to start, especially in Sydney where things are expensive. It takes some of the risk out of things. So from here, what does Bearhug look like in a couple of years?
First thing, next couple of months, we'll turn from concepts to actually fulfilling customers' needs, which will be exciting because we've done all the testing and that's all thumbs up, but it's going to be a hugely different thing when we're trying to operate a service model. So that would be the most exciting part. But I guess we're sort of looking on this 1.5, 2 year time horizon to sort of build a case study as such within a single industry and try sort of have full adoption through a whole industry, because that's where the network effects work best for a share and reuse model like this. So hopefully at the end of 2 years, we'll be at a pretty good scale within the New South Wales craft beer industry and be able to go beyond that to partnerships and whatever and say, this is working this well here, let's scale quickly.
Sorry, I normally have questions that I ask, but there are a couple extra I want to squeeze in because I find this really interesting. Do you find it's easy to get people on board as employees or partners because they care about the impact of what you're doing?
Yes. I think the easiest thing is mainly through BCI and when you did go in your team forming, here's the idea, who wants to join. People sort of see it more as just a stupid concept where we're using this much plastic waste and you just keep piling things on, like there's no recyclability. Oh, okay. It just sort of seems like a simple solution, and that's, I think, what makes people want to jump on.
Okay, so not only something that can be massive, but also something that can make a massive difference in terms of disposable plastic. And all the people out there that are talking about impact investing and kind of nudging towards this, we want to make money, but say we're having an impact. There must be people out there watching this thinking, okay, this could be big and could have a big impact as well. Are there opportunities for people that want to invest or partner in some way to get involved at this point?
Definitely. At the moment, we've applied for an EPA Circular Plastics grant. So we're looking for 60K match funding. And even outside that, we're just looking for around that amount to sort of be paying the team, of course, paying myself. But yeah, there's a lot of work to be done in the next few months, and a lot of tinkering to do, a lot of new problems arising that we're going to need a bit of backing for, as well as any connections through logistics, New South Wales craft, etc.
Okay, so logistics, connections, who's New South Wales craft?
Craft beer industry, sorry.
Yeah. Okay. And anything else at the moment in terms of talent or anything else?
Yeah, well, because we've just finished up with BCI, so obviously the team has their own things to be doing if they can't be paid. But in the next few months, we'll be looking to sort of build something more long-term with people with more specific capabilities.
Okay, awesome. I'm pretty sure you won't have trouble finding someone with 60K that wants to get behind this. Mick Lebinskas, if you're out there, or anyone that cares about the climate and wants to just have a little dabble and see what this can be. But looking back, if you could tell yourself anything before you started this 2 years ago, what would you say?
I guess just have no shame from the start and put yourself in uncomfortable situations. I guess from the start, it was like the first few times I met with someone who could offer value to what we're trying to do, I disappointed them. It's like, not being fully prepared coming into it, and then you just realize, I don't want to do that again. So you start, being more prepared for things, and hence getting a lot more out of each time you meet someone. And it sort of becomes a tipping point where each time you go talk to someone, you learn more and more and more, and it sort of sets up the chain of more things happening, more opportunities.
Nice. I'm still disappointing people, but you kind of soften people up to it after a while. And how has the experience changed you as a person?
I would say confidence, but I'm still scared of everyone here. I guess from a personal, more career perspective, I'd always been a perfectionist, and this has sort of allowed me to you have to make decisions quick, you have to work efficiently, and that's still improving. And obviously it's tough as a founder to have to constantly be working at something, even when you're on holiday, it needs to be in the back of your head. And learning how to be content with that is something that I think is really important.
Okay, cool. So, Bearhug pallet wraps. It's one thing to recycle your bottles and save that little tiny bit of plastic every day, but imagine you could save, tens of kilos, hundreds of kilos per installation, plus multiply that by how many trucks are running around Australia? A lot. It would be thousands, tens of thousands of tons of plastic, I'm sure, every day. Have a Google, check it out. I'll also say we run these sessions every Friday at 3:30 at UTS Startups at Central. We have the best pizza in Central, or really anywhere. It is the best pizza, yeah? Yeah, there are people nodding over there, but trust me, it is the best pizza you'll taste. Thanks to Amazon Web Services for their support and making that possible. But come on down, because we have 30-ish people in the room now. There'll be another 20 plus joining shortly. And they're all wonderful people. It's a great networking opportunity. But for now, please join me in thanking Tom from Bearhug Pallet Wraps.
Thank you.